Hello everyone, Namaskar, RVD here, and a very warm welcome to my YouTube channel. We are in my playlist Programming in C Sharp. We are going ahead with the next video, that is video number 9, and it is for Nullable Types. Okay, so let us go ahead. Now what is Nullable Types? See, if you know the concept that when we don't want the reference to refer to anything, we assign that reference to null. So we do that very easily with a reference type, or earlier maybe it was with pointers type, that if it is not pointing to anything, then it is pointing to null. But it is not very common with value types, because ideally the value types are supposed to have a value and it should not be null. So for some purpose, if we want the value type to be allowed to be assigned to null, then we have to make use of the nullable types. So that is the basic idea of nullable types. It allows to assign null value to value type variables. It cannot work with reference type, or rather it need not be required with reference type as such, because reference types are by default nullable. We can very well assign null to it. But if I want a value type to accept a null value, or we should be able to store null value to it, then it has to be declared as nullable type. Now how do we do that? Let's see and go ahead. The nullable type is an instance of system. Again, it's a typing mistake. It should be not comma, it should be dot. System dot nullable, and that T is a template type. So it could be of any type. So it is actually an instance of system dot nullable struct. Now here T is a type that contains non-nullable value types, which are generally non-nullable. We are making it nullable with this particular type. So this is the syntax. So nullable, data type, variable name, and we can make it null. So simply nullable int a, that is how we can very well write. And when we say it this way, we can very well assign it to null, even if it's a value type. Similarly, the other option is the one which we generally frequently use, data type, question mark, variable name, and then that could be made null. So generally we say int a. This is how we declare the variable, right? We can put a semicolon here. If I declare a variable like this, only like this, then we are not allowed to assign this to null, because it's not a nullable type, or it is not declared as nullable type. I simply put a question mark here, then it becomes the nullable type variable, and then we can assign it to null. So whenever I declare it with a question mark or maybe nullable as a keyword, I am making it clear that this particular variable is also allowed to be assigned to null, and it can store a null value. Okay, so I hope you're clear with nullable types. If at all we need to, we can declare a variable using nullable type, and in that case that variable is now authorized to store a null value. Now in continuation with this, we have something called as null coalescing operator. Now let us see what is null coalescing operator. Null coalescing operator is represented by this double question mark symbol. Now syntax is simple: op1 double question mark op2, or op1 null coalescing op2. Now what exactly it means? Now it will check whether op1 is null or not. Obviously for that it has to be a nullable type. If it is not a nullable type, then there is no possibility that op1 would store null. So for that op1 has to be nullable type. Now if it is a nullable type, that doesn't mean that it will always store null. It means it is capable of storing null. So it can either be null or it can be non-null. So if op1 is null, then it will use the value of the expression which is represented by op2. It will evaluate that, and that value will be used. It's like a replacement for op1. And if op1 is non-null, then it will continue with the value of op1 itself. So see what it is written here. It returns the value of its left operand, that is op1, if it is not null. Very clear. op1 अगर null नहीं है, then it will stay with op1. But if OP1 is null, otherwise, that means if OP1 is null, it returns the value of its right operand, that is OP2. Clear? Look at the example. Int question mark a equal to null. So I have declared a, and what it stores is null. Right now, because of an example, we have to assign it to null. Now it could be a value taken by user which could not be taken properly, so a assigns null, or maybe a is being stored with null. Okay, now we are using that particular thing in the next expression. So int b will be a if a is not null, otherwise it will be 10. That's the meaning of it. Now we know very well that a is null, hence the value that b will get is 10. If a wouldn't have been null, then it would have contained some value, then that would have been assigned to b. I hope you are very clear with null coalescing operator. We have one more version of it, that is called null coalescing assignment operator. Now that is double question mark and equal to sign. So it could be OP1 double question mark equal to OP2. Now what it means? Now it assigns the value of the right hand operator, that is OP2 to OP1 only if OP1 is null. Otherwise it will stay as it is. So see, it assigns the value of its right hand operand, that is OP2, to the operand on its left, that is OP1, only if the operand, that is OP1, is obviously, again a mistake, is null. Okay, so if it is null, then obviously it requires some value, so it will be assigned. If it is not null, this value will not be assigned. So otherwise, that is, if it is not null, it doesn't evaluate its right hand operand. Okay, please pardon me for the mistake, but get it clearly. If the OP1 is null, OP2 will be assigned to it, and otherwise if OP1 is not null, it will not evaluate OP2, but it will continue with OP1 as it is. Clear? So now we have an example also. Again, I have taken int a equal to null. A will be assigned to 10 if a is null. That is how we can read it. Currently a is null, so it will be assigned to 10, or it will be assigned with 10. If a wouldn't have been null, then a would have been as it is. Suppose a ka value would have been, let's say, 20 and not null, then this particular statement will not have any effect in that case. Okay, so that is what is null coalescing assignment operator. Fine, so that was about nullable type. Just to revise quickly, it is the concept used with value type, because value types are not by default nullable. If you want, you have to declare it with nullable type, either by using nullable keyword or a very simple question mark between the data type and the variable name. Null coalescing is obviously used in case to provide a replacement if at all we are working with a nullable variable, because nullable variable there is a chance that it could be null. Then in that case we can provide the replacement, that is, we can provide what in that case to be assigned. Null coalescing assignment operator is quite similar. Only thing is that it works with the original operand itself, that if that operand is null, what it to be assigned to, or else it would stay as it is. Okay, again, it's one of the very important concept. I hope you've got it properly. Again, it's a good idea to go back and watch the video again, understand the concept properly. If you have any doubts, you can very well put them in the comment box and I'll get back to you. Okay, so that was it. It was the video about nullable types, and that's what I had for you in this video. Thanks a lot and happy learning.